Hello and happy winter solstice in the northern part of the hemisphere. I'm making this video at the exact time of the solstice on Wednesday, December the 21st, and had an interesting morning in the latter degrees of Sagittarius. So I felt very challenged on what to talk about today, really, because there is so much to talk about. And it's an exciting time and it feels very powerful. It feels very emotional to me. So you've got the sun at 0 degrees of Capricorn right now, and we've got the moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. So I've just checked that out, and inside degrees. And again, just having a strange time even getting into Zoom today. So just interested in watching all these things playing out around different relationships and codes, and what you have to do to play other people's games. And I don't know about you, but I get really fed up with that at times. I just seem to be getting blocked in everything that you want to do, and having to make all these so-called security checks, etc., which don't seem logical to me, but I guess I don't know everything there is to know about how they work. So day 9 we're on, and moon at 9 degrees, and so here we go. We are on a very interesting day here today, which is red solar Earth, and the 9th day of red moon. So this winter solstice is about going through that gateway of what you've been experiencing in the last 8 days around being authentic, connecting to your source, being the beacon of light. Mercury soon to go retrograde, so we're going to be going over old ground around what we're thinking, how we're communicating. And again, don't know about you, but I've already been having a challenging time with that, let alone in a retrograde. So that should be interesting. That's coming up on the 29th. So in 8 days' time. Sagittarius number 9, a man with green skin. He is dressed in leaves. So it's the green man. Playful, exuberant, spontaneous, and elusive. You are restless under constraint, with all of civilization representing constraint. Desperate to be free. When not held down, you have spectacular abilities and affinities, but when bound by time, you become abrasive and provoking. Temperamental in extreme ways, aching for free movement in a vast territory, drawn to every extreme that exists. The body and soul of one who can never be identified, tamed, narrowed. You are the one who knows how the deep earth is surging with volatile currents, and these bear all hope and promise if they are followed with open arms. The one who shows everybody what life is like when it lets itself go and contagiously ripples with permission and encouragement for each and all to come out and play and explore the far edges, and even perhaps over those edges into the greater wilderness, claiming the allegiance of those whose wildness is no passing whim, but the only viable way. Wow, that's just so beautiful, isn't it? So in terms of the other planets, like I say, Sun has gone at 0 degrees of Capricorn, and we will be having the new moon on the 23rd at 0 degrees of Capricorn. So again, we will be then on blue spectral storm day. And the planet, of course, for blue storm is Pluto. So 1 degree is the initiation. We've got Jupiter at 0 degrees that went in yesterday, which was on yellow galactic warrior. So where we're integrating the previous 13-day cycle. And today we're going through the gateway of the red earth cycle, which was 52-day cycle plus 9. So that's 61 days ago. And I haven't actually put that into the calendar. I just work out what 61 days ago was. And really what we've been doing apart from the last 9 days. So all the time that we were in red earth, when we were in the yellow castle, what was manifest on the earth for us, what was coming to light. Uranus is the planet for red earth. And Taurus is, of course, in Uranus today at 15 degrees, still retrograde at the moment, along with Chiron at 11 degrees in Aries and Mars at 11 degrees of Gemini. They're all still retrograde at the moment. So Mars at 11, Chiron at 11. So that's really key as well, tying in with this new moon energy, which is going to be on a spectral at 1 degrees of Capricorn. And I'm going to read you that one as well, because I know that one's really beautiful as well. A canopy bed with curtains, standing on the inside of life, protected and guarded, guided and led, held fast. Kept so far back inside that what does express itself is purely a ceremonial display, a formal declaration. The observer or witness empowered to prevailable, to see, to realize, to comprehend the mysteries, clairvoyance, keenly sensing and viewing, meaning and value, purpose and spirit backbone. So very strongly and steadily directed from within, that there is no outer, there is no thing to do. Instead, you center yourself and align with who you truly are and stalwartly remain in the place of authority and power and inward truth as your statements and the only thing you know. So we've got this new energy coming in with Jupiter, new beginnings, expansion, mastery of the story, of everything that we've been doing since the start of the solar wheel, which was back on the spring equinox, which was, I'm just going to turn this around so you can see I've got a friend. So there may be some distractions going on this video. I'm in a different place. I've got a different friend today. So yeah, since the spring equinox, I'll get my words out, the spring man came into play. And now we've finished the solar wheel and we're in the dark half of the year. And today is the very, very, very dark point. And from now on, after the solstice, the light is returning, yippee. And we're going to have new beginnings with Jupiter. And we're going to be experiencing lots of new stuff around the ability to do our story. And so it's a really exciting time. So red moon, what does red moon mean? It's about aligning with our source energy, aligning with cosmic consciousness. And it's a time of really going into contemplation now over what's happened over the year. In terms of the spirals, with it being a day 9 today of the solstice, that means it's the 9th year of a spiral of red earth that began in 2014. So you think back then 9 years ago and recognize that all of these processes, they're the micro and the macro. So 9 days for today, what gateway we're going through. Whenever we get to the ninth, it's the solar, it's the spirit being able to take us up a notch within, vibrationally, emotionally, in our personal evolution consciousness story. And just thinking back to what I said about the spring equinox, Harry wasn't even on the planet back then. So he wasn't even born into, he wasn't even incarnated at that time. So he's very fresh on the planet. And again, it's like seeing how we each have a role that we come into. We're here for a certain amount of time, and so's everything in our life. So it is all the props that we've got, all the people that are in there, all the places that we have to go to. It's all connected and synchronized. And the more that we learn about the cosmic codes and our patterns, the more that we can really work with this consciously. And of course, connecting to that new beginnings and new energy and the gateway that we're going through from 2014. And for me, that was a very, very powerful time, extremely powerful, because I'd been in a 26-year relationship and that had ended in the November of 2014. So although I wasn't in a separate space from that person then, I was ending a very long-term way of being that had begun at my first Saturn return, and that had resulted in me having children. And of course, I'm going into my second Saturn return now. Sorry about that. So I'm getting some interruptions there with my doggy friend. And having a dog and a cat again just takes me back to when I had young children and when I had cats for 16 years. And, you know, when you stop doing relationships in certain ways or you stop having pets, it's a whole different experience, isn't it? It's a whole different way of being. And that's the key thing about coming here to be a conscious creator, is having these experiences and revisiting these experiences of our ancestors in order to evolve our experience and birth the new earth through us, through how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to other people, whether we can grasp new learning really and move forward and stop doing things that are often very deeply ingrained and hurtful to human beings, to get back to authenticity of who we really are. Because we've had so many generation after generation after generation of people who continue to live in a way that is not optimum for them, that is not loving, caring. And again, at this new moon time, I know we've got two key asteroids in play there, Hygeia and Ceres, all about health, all about nurturing oneself. And these are very good asteroids to put into your chart as well to check out your cosmic codes, because asteroids bring in new goddess energy, new experiences, and new ways of seeing things, new perspectives. And they are both key to this new moon as well. So I think Ceres is square the new moon and Hygeia is conjunct the new moon. So again, what is coming into our conscious awareness about being the disciple, being disciplined with Capricorn, being practical, grounded, fathering ourselves, you know, becoming a parent to ourselves in our masculine nature, where we're coming into balance with Hygeia, hygiene, health, and again, if you Google this, you can see her whole story in Greek mythology and also Ceres as well. Ceres connected again to Demeter and Persephone in some ways. Ceres, a grain goddess. And are we taking care of ourselves? Are we, what's being shown to us? What's in opposition to self-care, nurturing, healthy ways of eating, for example? And also how we're maturing. So maturation, that's what the calendar is all about. That's the key, the Venusian maturation point, where we are becoming transparent. And Sagittarius is very key to this, because this is the archer shooting those arrows, and at the same time connecting to Chiron, where we have challenges that we are experiencing over and over again. We have this wounding that we've inherited as well from our family line, and we're learning how to overcome that. In terms of the new year, on the Gregorian calendar, so on the 1st of January, we'll be going into a year 7 that began in 2017. So again, if you think back to what you were doing then, White Mirror, Sword of Truth, Neptune, and we've got Neptune in Pisces right now. Our dreams. What is our holograph showing us? Are we still having delusions, illusions about what we're here for, how we're living in society generally, what we've been programmed to believe it is, and our role in it? And so with yellow resonant star, yellow star energy, the manifestation of the last 7 years, really, what's resonating with our maturation process, being the star that we really are. And the planet is Venus. So again, it's that maturation process. In terms of the solstice, we have the tribe of red earth, white wind, blue hand, and yellow human. And they are the tribe that have come to create new pathways for humanity. So red earth, what's coming to light around whether we feel grounded, connected, safe on planet Earth. White wind, our messages from spirit. Uranus, again, sorry, my friend in the background. And blue hand is all about how we shape our destiny through healing. Yellow human is what's manifest for us on planet Earth as human beings. This is the philosopher's stone that shows us what is manifest for us. And I'm in a 13-year cycle with yellow human. First year of yellow human is again showing me everything that's happened to me up until now. And I've had some real big revelations over the past few weeks about my ancestral pattern, because I know very much that I'm following my grandmother's on my mum's side, so the matriarchal pattern. And she was a red Skywalker. And so again, when you start to really follow these processes and you look at what codes you have, you look at what codes the other ancestors have, and you start plotting out different patterns, you can see how you're an echo of them in some ways, and then working consciously to expand what feels good and healthy and let go what doesn't. So one of the things that came to light for me about my nan was she didn't used to make a lot of money. and her priority was always being at home with the children. And I very much followed that in so many ways. And you just get these little insights pop up as to how you're still following patterns. And I know, especially when I'm working with my clients too, that once we get talking about our memories of what happened in our family patterns, it becomes really clear as to how we're still doing that in some way. We may not want to be doing that in some way, but it's very, very strong how this energy works. And also, it's just becoming really clear that everything is a projection, everything in our path, in our experience, it all comes from the inside. It all comes from belief systems. It all comes through needing to re-experience. And it's not straightforward, it's not simple in many ways, because there's so many different possible outcomes, because there's so many different people in your family, for example, and it can be a compilation of different paths as well. But the more that you get really focused on this, and the more that you spend time on looking at these codes and writing down what you're experiencing, what your experiences are, what your triggers are, what's showing up for you in your life. And especially once you get past the age of 52, you can see how so many things, so many different stages are coming together. But again, it depends on your own personal journey. I personally have done lots of different things, followed lots of different career paths, lived in different places. And so there's a lot to come together, really. There's a lot of a bigger picture. But again, that's my rising in Aquarius coming together. But I can see, it makes me laugh so many times in a day where I think, wow, I remember when I was doing this earlier on in my life. Once you start plotting your actual dates as well, and you cross-reference with the Gregorian calendar. So today is 1991 for me, and me moving to London. And, I never thought that I would move to London. I hadn't pre-planned it. It did just sort of pop up, seemingly out of nowhere. But again, when I look at significant things that happened at that time, and I responded to an advert, and I ended up managing a pub called The Moon Underwater. And nothing is random, everything is significant. And the more that we start to believe in that magic, even at these very challenging times, we can start to see light coming through. And also the power of the universe, where we don't yet know what that's going to be at this balsamic moon time. We're in the dark, literally. We're in the darkest day, literally. So today is just a really good day to go within and connect to spirit, to our ancestors, to the starry skies, and see what's coming to light gradually. The cards for today, I've got, this is of course the moon that we're in. We're in moon number 6. And today we're day 9 on, so it's moon 6, day 9, and we're on day 9 in the 13-day process, red solar earth. And we're at 9 degrees at the time of the solstice. So this moon is really about coming into balance with what needs to go, what needs to be released, so that we can continue to walk our path. And of course, that's White World Bridger. And in terms of the Mayan signs, it's the 6th Mayan sign. And the planet is Mars. So taking action around what needs to go. And so I've got one from each group. So we've got the 9 of discs gain to match the number 9. So again, what practical things do we have to do now at this disciplined disciple time to climb that stairway to heaven on earth? What we want to create, that dream, getting in touch with our dreams again and seeing what is pulling us forward. And remembering that, again, if you look at this belief system around the Mayan calendar, everything is running simultaneously. Everything is happening all at the same time. So all that we need to do is get clear the obstacles so that we can really access that information, because it's already written, it's already done. And paradoxically, at the same time, there's lots of different versions of that, depending on what we heal, how we change our behavior, and how we have the passion to move ourselves forward. We've got that free will. We've got the Knight of Cups, which is, again, you can see the crab. So again, just Google these Thoth cards and they will give you the deeper meaning. So this really is about the chalice, going back to the summer solstice as well. What were we feeling then? Where was our home? Where is our home now? Maybe yours has changed like mine. The Princess of Swords, that young feminine mindset of truth. Is it the truth? And one that I often get is a 3 of Wands, virtue. To thine own self be true. You can't go wrong, really. Follow the truth. And the major arcana is the Chariot, which again is, when things get really intense and heavy, we are a soul having a human being experience. Lots of challenging things happening in my family right now. And this can be very difficult to deal with. And many people are having very difficult things to deal with right now around what's happening on planet Earth and where they are in their story. And so again, remember that with this new moon, gives the opportunity. It's actually on Moon 6, day 11. It's a portal day in terms of the moon, and it's the moon day itself, red rhythmic moon, is the 6th day in the arrow seed. So again, you can cross-reference that as well. And so it's a really powerful time of Akashic record and seeing how we are bound by these patterns, these ancestral karmic links. We chose to come here to do this, and no matter how hard it gets, we have the tools here to help us, we have the support here, and we are capable of doing this too. So set those intentions at the time of the new moon to follow your heart's desire. The dream that inspires you is what's pulling you forward. It's already there. You've just got to do what it takes to follow the path, get clear, release, create new ways of being, new stories, new adventures, new myths. So lots of love for you at this time. And as we come to the new moon, And then we come to Christmas Day. I wish you peace. Wherever you are in the world, it's amazing to be alive. Over the past couple of years, I have had people who I've known for a very long time have left the planet. And I often think of them. I think, well, I'm still here. I have the opportunity to carry on creating. And they've gone wherever they've gone. Life is precious. There's so many amazing, beautiful experiences for human beings here on the planet. So let's take heart and courage and move forward. We are as powerful a human being as every other human being. We have the same light. And we have the ability to increase that light as we heal and move forward. Lots of love. Bye for now.